The price of crude oil has risen to a 7-year high. With soaring commodity prices, oil and gas stocks are cash flow machines. Investors are now piling into energy stocks, and it's been the best performing sector over the last month. This is all while the broader market has been selling off. Exxon Mobil is up 21%, Chevron is up 11%, BP is up 18%, Phillips 66 is up 18%, Enbridge is up 11%, and Enterprise Product Partners is up 14%. My investments in the energy sector are one of the main reasons why I've been beating the market over the past month. However, I bought these stocks when they were deeply unpopular. During 2020, the worst year in the history of the oil industry, I bought throughout that year and took advantage of all the negative sentiment. I locked in fantastic dividend yields on cost and have seen significant capital appreciation. At that time, CNBC host Jim Cramer called these stocks uninvestable.
The oil market is insane. We're in the death knell phase. I'm done with fossil fuels. They're done. Sell. And that's how I feel about the oil and gas stocks here. I think that these are on the other side of history, so to speak.
Now that oil is soaring and the stocks have already climbed significantly, Cramer is joining the party.
I spent years warning that the oils were uninvestable. Now I love them. Was I wrong to call them uninvestable? I don't think so. Before the bottom in 2020, this group spent years in the doghouse. Of course, there's no longer the case. From the perspective of a money manager, there's no shame in flip-flopping. Call me crazy, but when the facts change, I change my mind. I want to make money.
Sure you do, Jim. Now enough trashing on Cramer. Let's get to the topic of the day. In this video, I'm going to discuss whether oil and gas stocks are poised for another great year of investment returns in 2022 and share my investing plan moving forward. My name is Zach, and you should leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. First, let's look at my current energy stocks. I own Exxon Mobil, Chevron, and Enterprise Product Partners. I bought all three throughout 2020, but I mainly focused on Exxon Mobil. With Exxon, my average cost per share is $40.91, and my total return with dividends reinvested is 96%. I've earned $711 in dividends and have reinvested all of this, resulting in 13 more shares of the company. My dividend yield on cost is 8.6%, and my compounded yield on cost is 9.42%. With EPD, my average cost per share is $19.85, and my total return with dividends reinvested is 35.3%. I've earned $249 in dividends and reinvested it all, resulting in 11.59 more shares. My dividend yield on cost is 9.47%, and my compounded yield is 10.58%. With Chevron, my average cost per share is $94.89, and my total return with dividends reinvested is 47.76%. I've earned $165.36 in dividends and reinvested it all, resulting in 1.64 more shares of the company. My dividend yield on cost is 5.64%, and my compounded yield is 6.16%. These stocks are generating significant dividend income and capital appreciation. As you can tell, they've already gone up quite a lot from their lows of 2020. But does this mean that it's too late to invest in energy stocks? Not necessarily. The price of oil has rebounded to highly profitable levels, and these companies have recovered their losses and are generating great earnings again. Look at Exxon Mobil. It's generating its best earnings in years. The same is happening with Chevron. This is just getting started too. Those are last quarter's earnings, which were just the beginning of high oil prices. Since then, we've had WTI crude oil prices consistently between $65 and $85. That's a highly profitable level for these companies. We'll likely see killer earnings when they report next, which is really soon. Chevron has earnings on January 28th, and Exxon and EPD have their earnings on February 1st. Earnings will likely stay strong well beyond that. The price of oil is still ascending, and these companies will be free cash flow machines. The question of whether or not to buy these companies at current prices all comes down to what you think the price of oil will be. Here, you'll get differing answers. Some think the price will slightly decline in the back half of 2022, while others are highly bullish. For example, oil analyst Paul Sankey gives an oil price forecast of between $80 and $120 a barrel, and he thinks it's poised to be the best performing sector again in 2022.
Yeah, I mean, around that level, we're just basically talking about a new range for oil because demand is so strong, notwithstanding the fact that we're breaking into the $80, which is obviously the lower end of the range. But you know, I think we're out of that 40 to 80 range is the point that we obviously went through at the low in 2020, where we averaged just 40 for that dreadful year of COVID, full COVID. Well, of course, you know, we're not worried about last year's performance because my goodness, it was a tough journey getting to the lows, So we're talking about the law of small numbers here with the improvement we saw last year. We were the best performing sector in the market. I'm really hopeful that we can do it again this year. And, it just looks good for all of them, basically, because demand is strong without jet fuel really being obviously back to full blast. But at the moment, for example, we've got all-time record US gasoline demand for the time of year. And we've just come off the phone with the CEO of Marathon for my annual refining conference, Marathon Petroleum. You've got only 3 or 4 major refiners left in the US, all-time record gasoline demand. You get up to these levels, it's all free cash flow and free cash flow yield. And if you believe in the capital discipline, you're just exploding the cash return levels here. That's why I think that the sector can still go up, 20, 25, 30%. At the moment, if you look at Chevron and Exxon as big cap examples, they're by far the highest free cash flow yield stocks of the top 30 or so stocks in the S&P. And we're talking here about 10 to 15% free cash flow yields at more like a $60 to $65 range. Every dollar above that is just pure additional juice. And we've already just had Exxon end the year with a positive profit outlook for Q4. So I think all the EPS numbers going up. And we're seeing some of these story stocks with no real cash return behind them is becoming really problematic in a rising interest rate environment.
Sankey is spot on. If the price of oil remains high or continues increasing, then these companies are going to financially make a killing. There's a high probability of that happening too, at least for 2022. So what am I doing with my oil and gas stocks? I'm not planning to buy any more, but I'm going to stay invested and continue reinvesting my dividends. I already have a sizable position and prefer buying energy stocks when they're out of favor. This is a cyclical business and the price of oil will fluctuate. They build up their balance sheets when prices are high so they can survive the down periods. With all that said, I do think oil prices will remain at highly profitable levels for the next few years. After the disaster of 2020, companies are being far more disciplined with capital expenditures and drilling, so supply could stay constrained while demand is high. If oil and gas stocks see a sizable decline while business conditions are positive, I could likely buy more. If you're a dividend-focused investor or worried about inflation, then these oil and gas stocks could be a great addition to your portfolio. Companies like Exxon and Chevron have a reliably high dividend with annual increases and share repurchases. EPD is a midstream distribution company, so their business is not directly impacted by the price of oil. They also pay a high-yielding dividend with annual increases, but they're classified as an MLP, which has different tax implications. In conclusion, I think the oil and gas business is poised to do well in 2022, so their stocks will likely follow suit. Thank you for watching Dividend Data. I'd greatly appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you follow me on Twitter, link in the description, you can get real-time updates of my buys and dividends coming in. You can sign up for dividenddata.com and try out the free beta test of my dividend investing software. Link in the description. Please leave a comment below and thank you for watching.